Hello and welcome to Perspectives. An interesting day again by any measure. The Chinese premier is in Pakistan. Excellent meetings, excellent speeches. The Prime Minister in waiting also present. Um, China has always been a great friend to Pakistan, and Pakistan and China together have created great opportunities, not just economically but also politically. And this region, being one of the most important regions in the world at this point, this meeting holds great weightage because of that importance. And I think a lot of things have to be expected from this meeting. Unfortunately, there may be some bad things which could be a repercussion of these meetings. As President Nasser Zardari said the other day, that his party has been punished for these alliances. All that has to be seen. That's the political, or may I say, geopolitical situation, which will unravel itself over the years and months. But there's always talk about economy. Pakistan is seeing its affiliations with maybe America or Saudi Arabia or China as a lifesaver. People hope that having such alliances, we would be bailed out of our issues and problems. I personally feel the bailout wouldn't come from within ourselves. We are fully capable of dealing with our energy requirements. We are fully capable of dealing with our food requirements, water requirements. We're fully capable of dealing with our economic requirements. And once we have reached to a point where the world has more and more need for us, there wouldn't be a need for a bailout. There wouldn't be a need for a savior. All these alliances will come into work and play, and they'll work in Pakistan's favor. But the question, the whole world, and with due and humble respect and apology, our own media has created an image of Pakistan being a failed state. Pakistan being a country where there's no hope, despondency, hopelessness. Call it law and order, call it crime, call it exchange rate, infrastructure. We wake up every day thinking there is no hope for us and we need a savior. But my point, over the years, ever since I've seen good times, bad times, Pakistan has made money. Pakistan has gone through the dips and the peaks, and yet always, alhamdulillah, God is kind, done very well. Today I've got three gentlemen who are leading businessmen, financiers of this country, who have great respect and understanding of the region, and also how Pakistan's money moves, how money is made in Pakistan. I request them to explain to me why we feel Pakistan is in such great trouble, and if it is, how can we get out of it? And if it's not, then where are the opportunities in the next 5 years? My guests, with great pleasure and honor, on my right, Mr. Arif Habib, Chairman of Arif Habib Group, if I may say. Any introduction which I give here for all my two guests today would be sort of embarrassing for me. Thank you very much for taking the time out. On my left, a very dear friend who has always come to my shows as a security expert, but a lot of people don't know that he is one of the leading businessmen of this country, Mr. Jamil Yusuf. Thank you very much for taking the time out. Another dear friend, Chief Executive Officer of Orient Textiles, Mr. Iqbal Ibrahim. Iqbal, thank you very much for taking the time out. I'd like to start with you. You're one of the largest money managers of this country. You have great investments. You are making investments. And you made a lot of investments even in the past 5 years, which people say were the worst 5 years of Pakistan. You still made money and made a lot of investments. So why the confusion about Pakistan's economic deficit?
First of all, I believe Pakistan is land of opportunities as far as the investment opportunities are concerned. You see, for the last 10 years, the capital markets average return has been 35% in rupee terms, whereas in the last 10 years, on the average, rupee has depreciated vis-a-vis dollar by 6%. So it means the Pakistani capital market has given a return of 29% during the last 10 years on the annual average basis. So that establishes that Pakistan offers good opportunities for investment. But you see, there are a number of problems Pakistan is facing.
Right.
First of all, I believe that the Pakistan's government finances are very weak. During the last 5 years, the Pakistani government has spent about 50 billion US dollars by under the budget deficit head. So budget deficit during the last 5 years had been 50 billion US dollars. So the finances of the government of Pakistan has been very weak. I think that is the problem which the investors are worried about. The other issue is obviously law and order situation has not been very good. So despite good returns available in Pakistan, the foreign investors and even the local investors were shy of making more investment. Third issue, I think, has been the energy shortages. Because of the energy shortages, Pakistan was in fact at a disadvantage of not having that type of GDP growth rate which the regional countries had. On the average, during the last 5 years, the Pakistan had a GDP rate of 3% on the average, whereas the Sri Lanka was above 6. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, all these three countries were above 6%. China was 8.8%. So, because of these two, three reasons, I think Pakistan is now viewed as a not a very good place to go and do business. But the people, the local people, who were in fact in the business, and they in fact were able to get the good opportunities and good profitability. So at the stock exchange, you see last year, the Karachi Stock Exchange went up by about 49%, gave a return of 49%. This year already, I think in a period of 4.5 months period, the market is up by about 29%. So those good returns are available presently. The textile, cement, the retail sector, they all are doing well.
You talk about the stock exchange. There have been articles written by some journalists, I've seen them on the internet newspapers, that the stock exchange growth is artificial. I'm not going to ask you to make an official statement here, but just a ballpark statement. And the day Mr. Nawaz Sharif takes oath as the Prime Minister, the stock market's going to crash. Is there credibility to that claim?
No, you see that market is not, the prices are not artificial, you see. Though market is at 20,000 points, the KC 100 index, but even that price earning multiple is not more than 7.5 times. Whereas the regional price earning multiple has been 13, 14 times. Even when in 2008, when the market had touched 15,000 points, at that time the price earning multiple was 12. So if we have to achieve this price earning multiple of 12, then I think the index should have been 30,000, not just 21,000. So in that way, yes, after the elections, the market sentiment have improved. That I think because they feel that now the government finances would be fixed by the new government because they don't have any option. The energy issue would also be addressed so that the investors then will be able to expand and put up new industries. You see, presently, the textile sector has a lot of opportunities. There is a lot of demand, but I believe that because of the energy shortages, they are not so aggressive as they should have been.
During our informal discussion before the show, Arif said something very interesting. He said, there's just so much not happening. There's room for so much to do. He mentioned law and order. I'm sorry, I'm going to take you there just for a moment. He mentioned law and order and security. Do you think that the absence of law and order and the security stability, there's an opportunity even there for money to be made in that area? Not just private guards, but overall creating an environment.
In technology, there's always this thing, opportunity and all that. And I agree with Arif. If this is the rate of profits being made, with everything being adverse, with people making money in Pakistan, buying apartments in Dubai, okay, it's easier to travel to Dubai and Karachi back than to go to Lahore or Islamabad. There are more flights coming in, you see. So fine, they spend the weekend here, they go back, they live there in security, they're running the... Now it's running a factory and a plant does not need your presence that much. If all the children have studied abroad, they've come back, they're intelligent children, they want to be in Pakistan, they have the really the passion to be back over here. Like my own son, he's been very positive about Pakistan, just like me all the time. He's continued with his investments and all that, and he just made a building which is going to be a landmark for Pakistan. And the point which is going to be something exceptional. It's the most intelligent building that he's made, and he's invested in a time which we call bad times. Okay? So, I mean, I would definitely agree. The new government, the new prime minister, and all will have to take law and order very seriously, because that is giving us a bad name. We are going to be here, but we are preventing foreign investment from coming due to the law and order. I agree with you. We have been giving bad publicity to Pakistan ourselves much more than what is really there, all right? There's bad law and order in a lot of other places and all that. We are under a war and terror. You can't expect something good. But that real initiative of having the rule of law, of ensuring that a common man gets justice if he goes to a police station, that security factor, that definitely needs to be addressed.
Mr. Yusuf, you said because of the law institution, foreigners or money which is out of the country is not being invested in Pakistan. That's fine. But is there enough public spending within Pakistan? I know the elite go and spend huge amounts of money out of Pakistan, but is there enough public spending within Pakistan? I also feel, and I'd like to open to all of you in a moment, that we do not have enough domestic spending opportunities. If I want to spend money here, not many things happen. I would like to see more Mother's Days and Valentine's Days and Sisters Days and Daughter Days happening, which really hallmarks a way of making money. Whatever the opportunities are, is there enough money being spent locally? Is there enough money moving locally? And is Pakistani money being invested into Pakistan, or that has also stopped?
To put it in a light one, I'd say our money is being invested very nicely in having bodyguards with us, in having bulletproof vehicles with us, which is a sad part, you know. And what else? The good restaurants, your internal travel has stopped, your resorts are not there existent anymore. So, I mean, so they all go abroad and spend that money, which would have been really plowed back.
Which is unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. You go to see a school, every child coming to school is coming with armed guards. Why do you need it? It's a colossal waste of money. Nobody is working on that. How many billions we are spending on just on this, putting up guards and this type of security, which is just fake and false, you know. And that's where the government has to take this bull by the horn. And if they manage to do that, believe me, the turning point of Pakistan would be that everybody would like to.
And I'm also interject all these. I'm sorry, and I hope I don't offend anyone. All these protests and sit-downs and sit-ins we have, I don't think we realize the amount of fuel and time we waste in these traffic blockages. It's insane. There were people running out of petrol day before yesterday in one of the protests.
The sad part is not only that, okay? It is creating a sense of indiscipline now.
Thank you.
Everybody has started doing this. Even the educated people. There are other ways of doing things. There are a lot of other methods and all that. If this is you're going to block roads by sitting in on the roads, then don't complain.
Well, the very same people who are protesting in London on the sidewalk, but the very same people
very disciplined, no traffic stop, nothing. And here, then one started it. Those who hardly got 200 votes, they also came and started doing sit-ins.
So it's time for you and I to start. Well, I'm not going to just talk to you about textile, but generally speaking, but I did mention textile, great opportunity. We, at one time, I think textile really drove our economy at one point. That's not so now. There's great other opportunities have risen. But is there huge potential still for growth? And what should we expect in the next 5 years, given Mr. Nawaz Sharif is an industrialist himself, and I've always felt that he's industry friendly?
See, I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm a firm believer in Pakistan.
So when you open with that, you're basically saying, now I'm about to lie.
No, I'm not about to lie, but you see, we discussed the law and order situation, there's no doubt about it. Mr. Arif Habib mentioned a lot of percentages, which if you hear, you think he's talking about India and not Pakistan. The number of percentages.
Which is basic arithmetic.
It's basic arithmetic, it's maths. So there is something happening. But after having said we have bad governance, all that, I'm not going to talk about the political parties, who does what. Pakistan itself, the way it is created, has a huge potential in a lot of things. We have food security. We are a third world country. We are almost bankrupt. We do not have enough reserves.
The state is almost bankrupt.
The state. I'm talking about Pakistan.
Okay, fine. The country, yeah.
You see, and then you talk about how the present Pakistan and the Pakistan which can be and could be, please, right? And there's a lot of optimism in that. And it's factual. If you look at the balance of payment numbers, textile is 56%, 60%, right? It could be of a smaller number, 100%, 80%, Bangladesh is an example. But of a bigger number, if we do exports of $100 billion and 60 billion is textiles, then what are we selling? We're selling leather, we're selling carpets, we're selling mangoes, we're selling everything, right? So we can do that. What is our oil bill? That is our biggest impediment. We do not have money. We have installed capacity in generation, power generation. We can't run them because we don't have the oil and the fuel to run it. Because furnace oil we have to import, we don't have the money to do that. Gas, we have mismanagement and less. Okay, put everything at an international price. बिजली के दाम बढ़ा दो, गैस के दाम बढ़ा दो, but दो. Then you see that everybody will have an economic use of a resource which is expensive. A cheap resource is always wasted. You subsidize always the inefficient people in the world. You do not subsidize the efficient people in the world.
Good point.
Now coming back to this.
But if I may interject, but at times this becomes completely unaffordable by the mass.
No.
Maybe you and I can afford a higher price.
No. We have countries in the world, examples are there. You know, the poor and the very poor, we can always create a bracket. You know, there are three brackets for industry, for commercial, and for the consumer.
To facilitate those requirements.
We facilitate that. Those people do not need a subsidy, but you give them sustainable rates, right?
Okay.
Increase it by the smallest percentage, but increase it by more percentage everywhere. There are examples. I'll give an example later on fertilizer, and we had a discussion on fertilizer, and I thought what he was talking about made a lot of sense.
Okay.
But if you look at the last 5 years, you have an economy that can generate these kind of investments and sustainable investments, and then we have governance which makes it sure that you are destroyed, basically wiped out. Why? So Pakistan has got no problems. It is bad governance. And I'll just say, I love to talk about cotton. Because that's my subject. And when I was chairman APTMA a few years ago, and I tried my level best to tell them, let's grow more cotton. We made an analysis that India in 3 years' time doubled the crop. We went to the Indian ginning factories, terrible. Packing, terrible. Contamination, more. What happened in 3 years? The state-of-the-art ginning, no contamination, and the packing was so beautiful that you can see a bale, it's like an American cotton bale. Perfect. What happened? They did a few things. First they said, okay, Seed Corporation of Pakistan, I have seen it myself personally, is the most corrupt corporation of the government. 124 PhDs working there, zero research, everybody's not present on the job. It's a terrible state of affairs. The crop of Pakistan, if it is given to the private sector, India did that. 64 seed corporations came into India and the crop doubled in 3 years. Now we say we were bringing in Monsanto or hybrid seeds or this, that, there are problems. There are NGOs who are fighting for it. You just mentioned China. We go and get some hybrid seeds from there. We do not need to get Monsanto seeds. We can get some other seeds. And in our brain, we are very smart people. We're overly smart. Oh, and we can create our own Monsanto seeds, which Monsanto is afraid of.
Sure.
So you see, I'm not saying that we should do that. It's not intellectual property right kicks in. So we have problems. Now, if we grow from 12 million bales to 15 million bales to 18 million bales to 20 million bales, our consumption is 15, 16. And then we can export raw cotton. Today we are importing almost 2 million bales. We save dollars there. And when we export more. Now when we export more, the 56% of cotton textile exports goes up to 60%, 70%. What are we looking for? $25 billion. Peanuts. Pakistan textile industry can take care of that. So your oil is taken care of. Listen to me.
This is what I find most amazing. When you sit with businessmen, industrialists, investors, we say these billion numbers as like petty cash for us.
Ask Mr. Arif Habib, if I'm wrong.
Yet at the same time, we feel like we are under so much debt and we are under so much deficit and we're losing so much money. Yet one industry says 25 billion, no worries, we'll deal with it for you.
Ask him.
Yeah. You see, that potential is very huge. The Pakistani numbers you see in terms of international
still
less than
are
McDonald's.
not very big. You see, if we take our foreign loans at 60 billion US dollars, there are corporations who have the more than 60 billion rupees as deposit with them.
Yes.
And the local debt is also there. But in terms of percentage, Pakistan, is a country which has in fact borrowed about 58% of it, whereas balance 59% of GDP contributes 8%. So if we calculate back, their contribution, 59% of GDP's contribution is 14% to their total GDP. So I think there is a need to balance it. There is a need of improvement in the management. You say all the entrepreneurs, they say that there is nothing wrong with Pakistan. There is a wrong management which Pakistan has, and there is a need for improvement. So always there is a potential and scope for improvement of the Pakistan management.
Okay, I need to take a short break, but every time I talk to people who have the capability of making money, and I ask them about Pakistan's problems, they have this beautiful smile, subtle smile on their face, which I saw right now as well. And if we have problems, then they smile and say, yeah, no, but you know. But then my question, when we come back from break, I like to open to all of my guests. The question, why hasn't, and I've asked this question maybe before as well, so much money, so much economic strength in these businessmen, investors, why have they failed to force the governments of the past to make the right decisions? One. And how will it be different in the coming government? Let's take a short break. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Perspectives. We don't have so much time, so I would like to just cut through quickly. Arif Sahab, the opportunities, understood. I see that smile on your face. I see the smile on Jamil's face. I see the smile which tells me that deep down you know you have the capability and potential to turn the game around. So my question, why has all this financial muscle failed to force the government to do something? It's your interest. It's the interest of your organizations and corporations as well. And how will it be different now? I'd like to open with that, please.
You see that there was a time when all the private sector people used to go to the government for getting relief from the government for their own businesses. But you would have noticed during the last 2 years period, the private sector has been telling government that please take care of your finances. Please take care, please reduce the deficits, please increase the export, please do such thing for which your finances improves. Because if the government finances are weak, then the investors' confidence in the country and the government ability to honor its commitment diminishes. So that's, I think, that has been discussed with the government people, and I believe that these politicians know everything. I think that impression would be wrong if we feel that they don't know these things. They know these things, but unfortunately, we don't see actions. If action happens, and now there is a expectation and hope that new government would take actions. You see, in Pakistan, take electricity. The cost of electricity is 13.5 rupees per kilowatt, whereas the government is selling at 9 rupees per kilowatt. So, for every kilowatt, the government is paying 4.5 rupees subsidy. So you see that 400 billion rupees have been spent on that subsidy. Similarly, the corporation, the PIA, steel mill and other, the government is spending 300, 400 billion rupees there. And look at the potential from the non-resident Pakistan. The official remittances of Pakistan is 12, 13 billion US dollars, more than that. So if the non-resident Pakistanis are sending 13, 14 billion US dollars through banking channels, and I believe that 4 to 5 billion US dollars come through Hawala. So their remittances to Pakistan is around 18-20 billion. So they would have been earning 40 billion US dollars. So they would be sending then half of their earning to Pakistan, not whole of their earning. So that, I think, that is the potential. And they would have savings there outside Pakistan as well. Many of the Pakistani have accounts outside Pakistan as well. So if we...
That's a severe understatement.
Yes. If we, in fact, give confidence to the local as well as non-resident Pakistanis and the foreign investor, the energy sector gives a return of 16% in dollar terms. So that, I think, is a very huge in this regime of low interest rate in dollars. So the policies are very good. I think implementation is needed. The government has been advised, and I think new government also understand that and will have to take actions, take decisions whereby these things can be corrected. And I am very hopeful that these things would improve over a time of period. I see that there is an improvement in the thinking and attitude of the general public here in Pakistan.
Mr. Habib, that this government understands, and the first time Mr. Nawaz Sharif was the Prime Minister, he did a lot of interesting things, opened up foreign exchange, what you call withholding tax, and he did interesting things for the business and industry. And he's from a business industry background himself, so he understands the problems. Are you hopeful? And one thing I'm very hopeful about, God willing, is that this democratic ride will also be another 5 years, and now we will, for all times to come, will have smooth transition from one government to the other. This is a great milestone. So do you think this government is going to make great improvements for business and industry?
Yes, because basically they have promised a lot also, and they are from a business community. They have seen the worst of things happening. They have all their friends in the business circle. It's nothing new for them, all right. And whenever they have come, they always tried to, they had that initiative of privatizations and highways, and they were doing the investments in the right places, you see. And while we're talking, let me remind you this also. A lot of the textile tycoons have gone into agriculture.
Sure.
They've gone into cattle breeding. They've gone into this thing, windmills they're going into.
Which is good.
Yeah, the power generations. A lot of them have invested. I mean, they have diversified.
They diversify, exactly.
Quality cloth that they're making. It's something which is superb, I mean, if you bunch of the stitch, it looks like the best fabrics available in the world.
Sure.
So these potentials are there. It just needs a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of doing. And I think the turnaround, Pakistan has always had that turnaround. They have always been advising. Like you said, I definitely, like the last 2 years, they were only telling the government how to do good governance, for heaven's sake, If you do good governance, everything is fine, You can imagine the prosperity we would have gone through, and if they had done good governance, what would have, things would have really turned around, the estate. But sadly, the priorities have been different. But now, the people have become intelligent. Yeah. The votes that have been cast are an eye-opener for all political parties and future rulers. You don't deliver. Yeah, you don't deliver, you're not going to be elected again. They're going to lose. So the parameters are going to be what you got today. If you want to improve on this, you better serve the people now. And from the poorest man to the richest, they all look forward to good governance, and I think they have the capacity of doing it. And
the level of awareness is intense.
It's immense,
And not just that, I think one thing we have to give credit to private media is that they have unleashed people's tongues. You cannot shut people anymore. They will scream.
And I think that the results which have come out in 3 provinces, I think 3 major parties have the governments.
Sure.
So I believe now onward they will have to perform, and there would be a competition amongst them. So Punjab, Sindh,
exactly.
and KPK. So in Punjab there is a Muslim League, in Sindh People's Party, and then there PTI and KPK. So they will have to demonstrate.
Well, in Balochistan also, provincially, it will be a PMLN government.
Yeah. So these 3 major parties now have the provincial governments with them, and they will have to demonstrate good governance. They will have to deliver. And I think on that basis, their future would depend on...
Some of the statements made by Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan have been very positive. Yeah. Let's be very clear on that, After election winning, Nawaz has not made any such statements.
But they'll have to go beyond party politics. It has to be a national agenda.
Yeah.
And the national agenda is very simple. Put the economy right. That's very simple. Cut out all the losses. Loss-making organizations have to be funded through taxpayers' money.
Sure.
That money should go into hospitals, schools, and other things. The private sector's job is to create jobs and to create employment and to create the wealth which has to be created.
And contribute taxes.
Taxes. Of course, taxes. No doubt about it. Now, it's some strange reason. I'm not going to take Nawaz or Imran Khan or Zardari Saab. They're all intelligent people. But Reagan had his own way of working, if you remember. Sure. He used to go to sleep during meetings, but his team was perfect. They had an agenda, and the team did it. I hope and pray they put up a good team on a national level.
Experts, people who know what they're doing.
Yes, yes, it's very important. Very, very important. Now, on textiles, the potential is humongous, right? On energy,
experts also there.
There are experts there. We can grow our own cotton.
Local,
We don't need to have any dollars to earn dollars. There are industries where you need to invest in dollars. When you take foreign direct investments, I think foreign direct investment, as soon as it comes, and as soon as it starts to make money, they will definitely make the dollars start to go back. To bring in $1 billion, they can take out $2 billion once they make profit.
Yeah.
So there will always be a drain on your balance of in a dollar balance payment.
We have to become organic.
Organic. Now what we have to do is this textiles. Now energy. Energy is such simple. Go to somebody and say, I want so much money to get rid of my circular debt.
Sure.
And now the circular debt should be paid by a mechanism. Very simple. Ask Mr. Habib. He will make you a program. I will give you a program. Okay, make an escrow account. Increase the rate of energy. The increase should go into the escrow account. They were happy with the rate today. It is give them 5% more and increase the price by 10-15%. The other 15% goes into an escrow account, and that escrow account pays for that circular debt which you have borrowed. पैसे आ जाएंगे, पैसे हैं. The other thing which you said is the local consumption and the local is there buying power in the economy. There is a huge buying power. You cannot imagine. Exports stinks because the prices are very bad. Europe and America have a
killer
problem.
Competitions.
And China itself is now moving out of this junk commodity which we would like to export. So India would be starting to look inward in the next 5 years. The opportunity for us to export, Pakistan will be textile country #1 if you grow cotton. The GSP is coming on the 1st of January. If we play our cards right, if this government plays the cards right, we can get a GSP plus, and that is 10% less duty of all our produce of textiles into European Union. There is a boom next month, next quarter.
Sure.
What are we talking about? So there is an opportunity, but we will have to cash on. There will be some Geneva Conventions which we have to sign. We have to go to Parliament, make some laws, that these laws can be implementable. Human rights, this, that, blah, blah. All those things which are very simple, doable. We don't want to do that. So if we do that, the economy will move, the textiles will move, the energy sector can be taken care of. And I'll just give an example. Pakistan now buys Indian cotton.
Sure.
1 million, 1.5 million bales. It comes from Gujarat. Gujarat never grew cotton. Now Gujarat is an exporter of cotton. Mr. Modi decided last week, I was reading our show, why should we export cotton? We should export yarn. So, he said 25 million spindles. 25 million spindles. We close down 5 million spindles every year. 25 million spindles in the next year. Government will pay for it. Special rates for interest rates.
It's also problematic for us.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Everybody has a right to do it.
We are buying the cotton.
Yeah, but we'll buy the yarn. We will add value from there.
Okay.
Capital investment of spinning is high. It's a huge. But capital investment ke alawa, the employment creation that makes the spindles make is huge.
Okay. Mr. Habib, I want to raise another point. A lot of cities are on stock exchanges. When will we see something of that sort happening in Pakistan? When will we see KMC on the stock exchange? When will the stakeholders get involved in owning cities and housing areas and
Sell them first. First sell them. Then automatically they will be on the stock.
I'm not talking about PIAs and steel mills.
No,
here.
I'm
talking
not
about the city
KMC.
itself.
Yes, sir. KMC को private कर दो.
Yes, I think you are right that the Pakistani stock market base is narrow. You see, very few people, in fact, make investment through the stock exchanges, and particularly the smaller people have. And I think there is a reason for this because the interest rate in Pakistan generally have been high.
Sure.
And because of the high interest rate, people tend to invest in government securities, fixed income securities. There, because for equity investment, you need a good knowledge of the companies, of the economy, of the political conditions. So, but I believe now the interest rates are falling, and there is a need of marketing this capital market in Pakistan. So now the stock exchange has started doing road shows. They are doing road shows within the country in various cities, and they also planned overseas as well. So I believe that the numbers and track record of the Pakistani market has been excellent. So there is a need to sell it.
But is there a possibility, which I was trying to ask, was of putting cities in the stock exchange? Can Karachi be on the stock exchange? Can residents of Karachi invest in Karachi? Can people? Can cities raise money?
Yeah, you see that there are examples. There are examples where the municipal bonds are listed at the stock exchanges. The provincial governments raise money from the general public and list their instruments at the stock exchange. Similarly, the federal government also issues some instruments and list at the stock exchanges. But again, there the secondary market activity is less. But there is a possibility there. Once I believe the size of the equity market increases, that will follow. And I think it's a good idea that the stock exchange management should work on that account.
Okay, the reason I'm invoking it, I'd like to comment on this is because I don't see any other way of us, the people of Pakistan, installing a board on a city and saying this is how we want our city to be run, because it's all political.
But you see, unless they improve the management, this thing will go on the stock exchange and nobody will buy the shares there because the management is so bad.
But then where do you see
they are so overstaffed? But don't forget, we are a poor nation also. Too much of privatization. The government also has a certain amount of responsibility of giving employments and all that, which they have been doing. But they become heavy on that side, right? Like the Banerjee program fund. You're sitting at home not doing anything. You're just doling out money for that. We've come to that level. But don't forget, I gave all those figures of, money coming in, fundings and all that. We are a very philanthropic country also. We are now rated nearly, I think, the most philanthropic. If unofficial figures are taken into account, we beat any nation in the world. So, this is very food for thought for us. Any nation which is so philanthropic, how can the country should keep on going in the dumps?
But see, okay, I'd like to raise a point here. I've been a huge critic of Banerjee income program, but it is short-term relief. We'll have to accept that. And you're saying philanthropy. Philanthropy is also very short-term, elusive relief. It's not a solution to a problem.
I know, but people are giving. The beauty of giving. In America, you give because you get tax reliefs. Okay. Here, the people hardly pay tax.
Well, that's why they give, because they have to make sure that they're not going to help.
You see, but then there's no getting relief also. You see, getting relief. They give because they really are. We are a giving nation. We've been really and that's why we have survived.
I'm a
lot of these things.
Obviously, it's a very important point.
Look at the hospitals and look at the ambulances.
The Pakistan is a country where the philanthropic attitude is much more than many other countries.
Sure.
And you also are right that this is not the solution of the problem. Solution of the problem lies in investment, more and more investment. If we do more and more investment, that would create job opportunities, that would in fact give government more revenues as well, and would also produce consumer goods as well. But I think both things, the investment promotion and this, I think leveraging this tendency of the people to do more philanthropic activity. I think both are very good, where Pakistan should build on that advantage.
That shows the people are excellent. Your tax base you're not widening up. Property tax. People living in 2,000 square yards, what type of tax are they paying in a year? 60,000? Can you imagine? This 5 years, this political government did not have the sense of even increasing property tax. I'm not saying increase property tax on 80 square yards or 100 square yards. I'm saying tax the rich. We are not even taxing the rich.
Was saying.
Yeah. You see, and in Pakistan, wealth creation is a bad word. That is what the big problem is. Now I'm afraid that after many years we got rid of the wealth tax.
Yeah.
Now I hear that they're going to bring back wealth tax. Now that would be nail in the coffin. What are we talking about? That tells you everything about the new economic policy that's going to be made. It will stop investment.
Yeah.
It will not create wealth, and it is anti-wealth creation. Investment, you were talking about subsidy. Money should be spent. I mean, I run an industry. I know I have a priority. I bleed here, I bleed here, I bleed here. I can't invest into all three. I take the highest return, which if I stop this, how much money will I make more to sustain these two losses? And this is how you do your priority. Here, I'm coming back to one more thing. If you
just close in about a minute. So
if you improve your agriculture, people who are 70% of your population, they will have a bigger income. They will buy more clothes. They will buy more shoes. They will buy more fruits. The whole economy moves because
the money would move locally.
And this is so simple.
There has to be local spending.
It's so simple.
Any closing notes?
I would say our top priority of any government coming is investing in the criminal justice system. We need to do that to get the confidence of people. The investors will come in abundance. The country has got opportunities, like I said, abundant opportunities. My philanthropy says the people are good over here.
Sure.
You couldn't get a better nation of people, and that's the way we should go about it.
Fortunately, today, Ishaq Das have clarified that we are not thinking about the wealth tax, living wealth tax. So that has been clarified, and there was a talk in the market about that the new government is thinking of living wealth tax. So I believe that the Pakistan needs good management and good governance. It has the fundamentally strong factors which in fact can give an opportunity to the professionals and entrepreneurs who can thrive in Pakistan by doing investment and by in fact managing companies and corporations. So I believe that new government would pay attention to that and in fact remove the imbalances in the government finances. That would, I think, promise good future for the people of Pakistan.
Thank you, all of you, for taking the time out. I'll actually say this very quickly. I think Pakistan has changed. There is what I'm seeing is a tremendous change. And as I keep saying, every day the change is not in people, not in politicians, not in government, but the change is this. There is such a high potential of hue and cry in the shortest possible time. Wealth tax, fear, noise, and even the politicians are now listening. And the noise ratio is so high, thanks to internet, thanks to Twitter, thanks to Facebook, thanks to private media, that within a few hours, the government, the politicians have to react. They can no longer ignore the educated voices, the business voices, the money-making voices. They're all very powerful now. With this hope and confidence that the incoming government will keep their eyes and ears open and keep their finger on the pulse of not just the masses, but also those who drive the economy, future, and wealth of Pakistan. That is crucial. Thank you very much. Until next time.